Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here.
Oh, Thrive Nation, welcome back to another edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio. Have you ever dealt with haters? Have you ever dealt with non-constructive criticism? Have you ever dealt with toxic talkers, hateful social media, betrayal, endless negativity? I mean, if you've ever owned your own business or you want to, you are going to be attacked consistently by former employees, competitors, former employees turned competitors, social media, people that don't like your business model, people that don't like the way you do business, people that don't like you. It's the only way, according to Aristotle, the only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, be nothing. That's the only way to avoid criticism is to be nothing, is to do nothing, to say nothing, to do nothing. That's the only way. Let me read you the notable quotable that's attributed to Aristotle. There's only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. This just in. There's only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Wow, what a positive way to start the show. Well, who's Aristotle? Aristotle is the father of Western philosophy. He was also the tutor of Alexander the Great. And so on today's show, we're going to see what Aristotle can teach us about how to deal with haters, non-constructive criticism, hateful social media, and much, much more. But before we do that, I want to start the show on an up note, and I want to brag on a client. These guys at Delricht Research. They're out in New Orleans. Check them out, Delricht, Delricht Research in New Orleans. We're going to help them franchise very, very soon. And they produced over $100,000 of profit last month. What? Over $100,000 of profit last month. So we went out to New Orleans, my wife and I and Marshall Morris went out to visit them, and we had some incredible New Orleans local authentic cuisine. There we had authentic local cuisine. I had alligator for dinner. I had turtle gumbo for dinner. I had not shrimp, but what do you call it? It's a crawfish. Yeah, crawfish for lunch. We had the whole New Orleans authentic cuisine experience. We had a great time. But while I was gone, as is tradition, as is normal, I experienced haters. And if you're out there and you own a company, how many of you out there experience negative commentary, negative feedback via email or social media or a variety of sources? Well, I get it every day because I'm involved in so many different business ventures. There's really not a day that goes by that I don't get some sort of super negative accusation or claim or feedback from somebody who is out there. And it just happens. It never ends. And so when I was gone, I just got back today, and I was told that there was somebody who's been calling my clients and claiming that I am a bad person. Now, this leads us into segment number 1. Anyone can claim anything. Think about that today. In today's society, anybody can claim anything, which is actually good if you're living under a totalitarian regime like North Korea, or you live in Iraq, or some country where there's crimes against humanity. All you have to do is pull out your smartphone and film the atrocities that are going on. You put it up on social media, and next thing you know, the entire world knows about it. And so it allows the whole world to know about the evil, and it won't stay localized, and then, the world can deal with it. Also, however, it allows people that have no talent, no skill, and no platform to have an equal voice to share what they feel and to share their comments on anything, right? So as an example, let me pull this up real quick on YouTube. Okay, here we go. So Susan Boyle on Britain's Got Talent 2009 sang a song that absolutely blew people out of the water. She was a 47-year-old lady that nobody had ever heard of before. She gets on the show, Britain's Got Talent, in 2009, and this is what she sang.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by. When hopes rise, life will begin.
You didn't expect that, did you? Did you? No.
I dream that love would never die.
And despite singing like an angel and, by all accounts, being a good human, she still got negative comments all over YouTube. People attacking the way that she looks. People attacking her age. People attacking her weight. Because that is what people do. People love to mock people. I grew up as a kid that stuttered. And so when I went to school every day, people made fun of me. That's what they did. That's what people do. It's like you go to school and you stutter and people make fun of you. We can't stop them. I mean, we can't ban volcanoes. I mean, we could pass legislation and we could talk to Congress and the Senate and the Congress and we could work it through the legislative branch and we could do all those things, but we can't ban volcanoes. We also cannot ban bullying. We can't ban people being negative. And what I've found throughout my career, no matter what business I've created, every time I build something and get it to the top, there's always somebody at the bottom that would rather spend their day slinging mud, which creates a bigger hole for them, by the way. If you sling mud, it creates a bigger hole for you. Just think about that for a second. If you're slinging mud, it creates a bigger hole for you. There's people that would rather spend their entire day slinging mud and digging a bigger hole for themselves than actually growing their company, succeeding in their own way. And so when I built my company called DJ Connection, there was this guy named Zach who just could not do anything beyond just attacking my company. He couldn't focus on growing his company. He couldn't focus on marketing his company. He couldn't focus on doing anything but just attacking me. Then as I grew the company bigger, there's a guy named Kevin who could not spend any of his time marketing. He couldn't spend his time growing his company. He couldn't spend his time recruiting people. He couldn't spend his time improving the company at all because he spent his entire day attacking me. And I would ask you out there, if you have a company that's successful, who is attacking you? Now, if you're not being attacked right now, it's probably because your company isn't yet big enough. But if you have a company that is successful and it's grown beyond a certain point, I promise you, you're going to become an enemy or a target of the bottom feeders, of the carp of your industry. And so going back to our theme today, Aristotle teaching us how to deal with haters. Anyone can claim anything. Aristotle once wrote, there is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Now there's people that will even criticize whether Aristotle actually made that direct quote. Well, the problem is we didn't have microphones back then. Things were written down, and the quote's been attributed to Aristotle over and over again. But maybe there's somebody out there that criticizes the idea that even Aristotle, whether he even said that comment or at all. I mean, but again, Aristotle once wrote, allegedly, there is only one way to avoid criticism, to do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. Let's repeat. Aristotle. There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Thrive Nation, let's repeat it again. There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And so the other day, I'm out there in New Orleans, helping a company that I work with franchise, and I get a call from client number 1. I get a call from client number 2. I get a call from client number 3. Pretty soon I realized, gosh, this guy's been pretty persistent. I've got a call from a lot of clients. And I get a call from my clients telling me the following. I'm going to read to you an excerpt from what a client actually sent me via email. It says, I got a call this afternoon from someone named about our website. He said that he had done a bunch of research on the way Thrive builds websites. Now, Thrive really means Clay Clark. I mean, let's not say Thrive, because Thrive is not a way, it's not really personal enough. It's more me. Research on the way that Clay Clark builds websites, and he felt that we were being done in an unethical way. He said that if Google found out about what we were doing, that would be detrimental to Peak as a company because Google would blacklist us. He said that Clay Clark, again, not Thrive, he said Clay Clark, but he said Thrive, but he really meant Clay Clark. He said that Clay Clark is using a method called link farm, which he called other companies that you work with to see if they were aware. And that came from one of our wonderful clients I've worked with for years by the name of Ethan. So Ethan, thank you for sharing with me, again, what this incredible guy had to say about us. But let's go ahead and play the audio of what been saying to our clients, because it's crazy, but our clients actually have installed call recording on their phones. And so one of our clients actually sent me the audio recording of what Chris McKinsey said when calling them to attack me about our search engine optimization strategies.
Basically, a couple of months ago, I was out at a company called Non-Constructive.
Okay.
I was talking with them about, I run a web development company, and we were discussing their website, and they expressed the idea of maybe switching to a different company. And so I told them I would analyze their website, and I looked through it. I was breaking it down, seeing things that could be done differently, and I stumbled upon the sitemap, which was filled with random words.
And so there we have it. Yet again, another competitor is calling one of my current clients that I've worked with for years to call them to just let them know that he has some concerns about their website for an altruistic motive. He could not possibly be motivated to, make a profit or to grow his company, but instead he's just calling to let people know that he is concerned about their website, and he just wants to let them know that he has a few concerns because as a member of the I Don't Have Enough Clients Internet Police, he wanted to reach out to our customers out of an altruistic desire to help them, just to let them know that they had some things to be worried about. But it's hysterical because I've had so many clients call me all week telling me this guy's been calling them. And this happens every single week for me for just one of my companies. I mean, we come back from the break, I'll talk to you about the reviews my haircut business gets. But if you're out there and you want to scale a company to create time freedom and financial freedom, you're going to have endless criticism, endless unwanted feedback. You're going to have a barrage of feedback, of interruptions, of complaints from people on a daily basis. And so if you want to create time freedom, you understand that one of the trade-offs of scaling a business is you have to have thousands and thousands of customers to create time freedom. So if you do want to create time freedom, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of complaints. It's not statistically possible. I mean, the elephant in the room, our men's grooming lounge. By the way, if you're listening right now and you live inside the Tulsa area, your first haircut is just $1. Again, your first haircut is just $1. But it's not statistically probable for us to get a haircut perfect every time. So right now we track internally. We typically make a mistake or we mess up a haircut 3 out of 100 times. It's a 3% margin for error. But when we make an error, most people don't call the company to express their concern. They immediately write an anonymous review or they complain on social media. Stay tuned. We're talking about dealing with criticism on the Thrivetime Show on your radio.
Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, now we hit.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colin Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio and podcast download. Dr. Z, typically when somebody celebrates a birthday, a holiday, some kind of event.
Some kind of event.
Like if it was your birthday, typically good form. It's it standard that I would tell you happy birthday on the day of your birthday?
It's standard form, yes.
However, because it was Father's Day, this will come out here, I guess, we're a full week after Father's Day now at this point. I want to just tell you happy Father's Day, my friend, because I don't think you can text happy Father's Day. I don't think you can text. I don't think you can email. I don't think you can just do a quick voicemail. But happy Father's Day to you, my friend.
Well, happy Father's Day to you, and happy Father's Day to all the Thrive Nation out there. I mean, if we're going to just throw it out there, let's just throw it out there,
Well, one of the fathers of
Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you. Are you doing what I think you're doing?
Happy Father's Day
Oh, no.
to you.
Yeah, sorry.
Happy Father's
Look what I started.
Day
Look what I started.
to
I can only blame myself. Sorry, Thrive Nation.
Now, okay, so let's talk about the father of Western wisdom, or one of
Yes.
the fathers of Western
One of
wisdom,
the fathers-
Aristotle. Aristotle.
Oh.
Aristotle was considered to be the father of Western philosophy. He also was the personal mentor and tutor of Alexander the Great. And on today's show, we're talking about how to deal with haters in sort of professional, stoic, meta, kind of do it the right way, see, when you're dealing with haters. Because if you have a company, see, and you've grown your company to where you see at least 1,000 customers a year, is it even likely that you won't have a hater or two?
It's very unlikely that you won't have one. And nowadays, with social media, the way that it is, I know, with the way social media is, it's so easy to hate.
This just in.
This just in. hating made easier. You're welcome. Thank you, Al Gore, for giving us this thing called the WWW Internet.
Thank you, Al Gore.
You. I thought when you said we're going to talk about the father of Western civilization, you were going to be talking about Al Gore. I wasn't sure you're going all the way back to that.
This really, just in.
I mean, the
Al
internet
Gore is
really,
the father of Western civilization.
I mean,
okay. So what we're talking about, though, in the first segment we talked about. Look, anyone can claim anything today. Okay. Bottom line, anybody today can claim anything because of social media and the internet and the ability to write anonymous posts on YouTube videos, whatever. So now we're talking about character, Z, is a process and not an event. So be careful who you let into your inner circle. So, sir, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Aristotle says quality is not an act, it is a habit. But the teaching principle I'm trying to communicate is character is a process, not an event. So be careful who you let into your inner circle. My friend, break it down.
well, it's really kind of sad because you build your character and you build your reputation your entire life. And then one stupid ad, one idiot move. What was I thinking? Hold this and watch this, right? Hold my beer, watch what I do. One idiotic move can destroy years of reputation. But if you live your life as if the cameras were on you all the time,
right?
As if everybody knew what you were doing, as if the people that you're trying to convince to buy your products and goods and services, because we're talking entrepreneurship now, right? Then you might act a little different than if you didn't think about that. So building that character, Clay, it really is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of doing the right things. And I always say, my little saying is, if you always take the high road, you'll never take the wrong road.
Oh
my! What does that even mean?
You said, let me make sure. You said if you always take the high road, you'll never take the wrong road.
Right.
See, we have a caller who called in earlier. We didn't have time to get him on the show.
Oh, we didn't? Okay.
And Kevin Nealon knew you were going to be talking about this, and so this is what he had to say about that.
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad. Feel the flow happy. Feel it. It's circular. It's like a carousel. You pay the quarter, you get on the horse. It goes up and down and around. Circular, circle with the music, the flow.
Okay.
All good
no,
things.
but in all sincerity, when you take the high road, you never take the wrong road.
Yeah. And that's, whenever I'm faced with a decision and, me, I think there's people that run around and say, justice. I'm like, no, mercy. But, the thing about it is if you have the opportunity in life, what happens is that when someone makes a mistake, they hand you a hammer.
Absolutely.
And they give you permission to swing that hammer and to hit them.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, you following me?
I follow you.
And so we're always shocked, at least I am, whenever you go, okay, one of my staff, I screwed up, someone screwed up, here's the hammer, said patient, now you can hit us if you want to, but you're really not going to. And then they do it, you're like, wait a second. Nobody ever swings the hammer that hard. But the thing about it is that whenever you get handed the hammer, that's your opportunity to take the high road. That's your opportunity not to give them what they deserve. That's an opportunity. That's a teaching moment for you and all those around you.
You know, we don't have a whole lot of time for this story. I'd like for you to share kind of an Oh Billy story. A time in your life where you've let somebody into your inner circle where you thought that was probably not a good move. Maybe from your earlier years, because now you're more guarded, you're wiser. But we've had a lot of Thrivers email recently where they said, I invited somebody into my inner circle.
Yes.
I invited Billy in, and...
Oh, Billy.
And he ended up betraying me, taking advantage of me, screwing me, not doing the right thing by me. Can you think of an example from your career where you let somebody into your inner circle early?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe you could speak about it in vague ways that doesn't get anyone in trouble or call somebody out. It's not swinging the hammer, just a teaching moment in a way that's vague. I mean, you could change the gender of the person involved and even the time and the space. But could you share an example?
The gender, the person involved. Well, it was a gentleman that actually brought a deal to the table.
Okay.
And by bringing the deal to the table, said gentleman wanted the opportunity to be a part of the deal.
Okay, yeah.
And I mistakenly agreed to that.
Oof.
Just because someone brings a deal to you, just because someone brings an opportunity, doesn't mean that you necessarily have to then bring them on the team. But in a moment of really not thinking about it all the way through, shocking, right?
Right.
I said, absolutely.
Absolutely.
In fact, we'll set up a little bit of sweat equity for you.
Let's do it.
You got little golden handcuffs.
Oh, come
keep
on.
You around. Little sweat equity down the road.
This deal sounds bromantic.
Yeah, you get to run this thing.
Yes.
And, and it's going to be wonderful.
Wonderful.
I didn't really check any of your background. I didn't really check references on you. I really haven't hung out with you that much to find the character of the person you are, since we're being gender neutral. And what I found out is, shortly thereafter, I'd hired a complete maniac. Like a crazy man. Narcissistic crazy. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
we come back from the break. We're going to transition from a crazy man, narcissistic man, into a discussion about dealing with endless, non-constructive criticism. When you're getting non-constructive criticism from people who you're not even asking for their feedback, how do you deal with it? Stay tuned.
3, 2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrivetime Show.
Thrivetime Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab. Let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1. Here come the business ninjas.
Sonic boom.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. Today we're teaching you specifically, we're breaking down the teachings of the father of Western, really Western philosophy, the guy who was the personal tutor of Alexander the Great. And we're using some Aristotle quotes as a way for Aristotle to teach us how to deal with haters. Now, Z, when you are in business and you have more than 1,000 customers a year, this is kind of the threshold where I see this happening. Once you get to about 1,000 customers a year, it seems like that's about the number where you, the owner, can't personally put out every small burning fire. You know what I mean? There's too many customers now. You're not seeing everybody.
Sure.
Your company's grown beyond you. And so therefore, now you're going to start to see some weeds grow up. You almost get blindsided by them, though, because you don't see the customers yourself. You're not in the trenches. You're not out there every day seeing all the customers. And so this is big for a lot of our listeners. I mean, Chup is a business coach. I mean, have you ever had one of your clients, Chup, where they got very upset or distraught about a bad review or bad feedback from a customer?
Oh, yeah, and it happens all of the time because there's just people out there in the world that you can't please. No matter what, they feel as though they've given you money. Now their expectations are crazy high, or maybe they're just kind of crazy.
Now, I'm going to tell all the listeners something that is true that seems probably exaggerated to the listeners out
Can
there.
I ask you a quick question first?
Yeah.
Have you noticed, you've been a business owner now for quite a few years.
Think about this. I'm 37. This is my 21st year being self-employed.
There you go. I see this in my businesses, and that is when there's a full moon, it just seems to get a little bit wacky around the office.
A little wild.
A little, it's kind of like, I mean, some days will be like, oh my gosh, was it a full moon last night? Yeah, I think it was. Well, or is it full moon tonight? You'd be like,
no wonder.
Did you ever notice that?
You know what, Z? What I've noticed when the full moon occurs in my business, this is something I do, and this isn't weird. This is just what I do.
Yeah.
I typically hop in the bath with a bottle of wine and my favorite book of poetry.
Bubbles. And
I
light a few candles, I would imagine.
I go on there and write bad Google reviews.
Just ripping at people.
That's just what I'm into.
I just randomly pull up websites. And
I agree with you. I agree. There's just weird things that happen. There's weird patterns you'll see in business. But one of the things that I have discovered, this is criticism area number 3. This is hater area number 3. Is you start to get an endless stream of non-constructive and non-productive criticism. See, have you noticed that? Like, once you get to a certain level, if you're not careful, I mean, you could spend your entire day just dealing with endless, non-constructive, and non-productive criticism that's unsolicited. You're not even asking for it. It's just feedback coming in from random people. I mean, could you not just get your whole day stuck there in that reactive state if you're not careful?
Absolutely. I mean, you can. And because people, it's so funny because they act like they care. I'm going to tell you this.
I want to rip on your business and my business back to back.
Okay, cool.
That way you'd love this.
Okay.
This was probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And you were generous enough to have us over to your home for Thanksgiving.
Okay. And I remember that. Yeah, it's a fun time.
And so, anyway, we leave. We have a great time. A family member says to me, this is after you've opened your home. You've served great food. It was awesome, by the way. Great. They're like, his business is so busy, you can't even get in. Think about that statement for a second. We're getting in the family car driving off.
Oh, yeah.
It is so busy. It's like you can't even get in. And my wife and I are like, are you kidding me? This guy he invited us to Thanksgiving. He's treating me like his own son. By the way, I appreciate you doing that. I'm the most kind guy in the whole world. I mean that. You're the best. And so he opens his home to us, treats us like royalty. We are in a circle. We are holding hands. We're doing the prayer together.
Oh, yeah.
We're serving them. It's unbelievable, the hospitality.
Oh, yeah.
And then they say, it's so busy, you can't even get in. We had a staff party at your house one time. All of our employees are there. Some people brought their friends.
It was a
great time.
Festivus.
Again,
it was a Festivus.
For the rest of us.
But then again, on Monday, someone goes, gosh, I went in there on Saturday, the day after the party.
Yeah.
And it was so busy, I couldn't even get in
I think you're reading it wrong. They're giving him a compliment. They're saying he's winning.
So another example. I actually, for Elephant in the Room, I have 12 mystery shoppers. These are people that get their haircuts for free. And the ideas are supposed to give me feedback about the experience. See, have you ever done that before? You give someone free service in exchange for
You've got to
feedback.
pay them somehow, yes.
So I said, you get your haircut for free. Just text me what we're doing well or not well. And the point is there's 12 of them all coming in at different times, and nobody knows they're a mystery shopper. So I go to we'll call it a place of worship, or some might call it a church. I go there, and this person, I'm not kidding, I'm in the restroom where all the great conversations happen. I walk out. This guy goes, hey, I want you to know, such and such has been really slamming your place. They just said it's so busy, you can't even get in. And my mystery shopper was telling their friend, confiding in their friend, hey, I just want you to know, they are so busy, I don't even go there. But they're getting their haircut for free.
What?
That's like Batman taking off the mask.
So this is what Aristotle would teach us, and I want Z to break it down. Aristotle says, anybody can become angry. Well, that's good, because I was angry. That is easy, he says. But to be angry with the right person, and to the right degree, and at the right time, and for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power, and that is not easy. Aristotle, again, says, anybody can become angry. That's easy. But to become angry with the right person, and to the right degree, and at the right time, and to the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power, and it is not easy. And that's one of the biggest things I've learned from you is you have this ability, which I have tried to learn through osmosis. I've tried to take your superpower and just absorb it. You do not give any of your, some could call it Fs. I'll call it your force. You don't give any of your force, any of your focus to people who are giving you unconstructive criticism, because telling you that you're so busy that I can't go there anymore, that's not constructive.
It's not constructive.
It's just random feedback that you're not even asking for. Can you talk to me? How do you handle that endless stream? I'm sure you've never had someone tell you that one of your companies is so busy you can't get in.
Yeah, that's like the old, who's the old baseball guy? Yogi Berra, yeah.
Yogi Berra says it's so busy no one goes there anymore.
Yeah. That restaurant's so busy nobody goes there anymore.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I hear this all the time.
Well, the thing about it is being able to block things out. Ignorance is bliss. I mean, I'd rather not even know about it.
Oh,
to be
tell
honest
us.
with you.
Teach us.
And so sometimes what I'll do is when people come up and try to give you advice that you don't want, that is not good advice, advice you're not going to use, I just throw it out. One of the things that people get upset about is they're looking at today's day and age, and I've said this before on the show. I remember when I was a kid, there was a saying that said, "Sticks and stones
may break my bones,
but words
shall never hurt me."
Right. And now it's the opposite. It's like, oh, what'd they say? What'd they really mean? What did you hear?
Words will break my bones, but sticks and stones are like whatever.
I know.
You know what
it's
whatever.
We live in this world where like everybody's just looking to be offended.
Hey, real quick, you're giving me some anxiety right now. I'm picking up some anxiety.
See the tone in your voice.
After the break, I'm going to break that down for you. I'm going to break down.
I got to tap out. I got to go to a
offensiveness.
break right now. I'm going to tap out because I'm offended, and I feel this anxiety. I got to break. Chap, hold me. Stay tuned.
Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show. 3, 2, 1, boom!
Time to face the rise and grind. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Big shout out to Colton Dixon. Z, Colton Dixon, thank you for the intro. Z, what do you think?
A voice. I tell you what, that's
What
just
a
hot
voice.
sauce.
It's so good. Z, if we could sing like that, let me tell you what, our ratings would go to the next level. I mean, we would always be the number one in the business category, in all
Absolutely.
categories. If we could all sing like that, I mean.
Well, but I know, but I'm a little concerned.
What's that?
Well, you're getting so good with writing your jingles that I think you're almost going to turn into a little pop star on me, and then I don't have it. Then Shep and I'll be here.
The Jingle Master's gone.
I mean, Jingle Master's gone. I mean,
The Jingle Master.
You'll be,
Barry Manilow.
you and Justin Bieber. Be headlining.
Barry
in Vegas
Manilow.
and
Barry Manilow lost his jingle writing career to a pop music career. He started off writing jingles, and the next thing you know,
that's what I'm saying. I know.
This is a danger.
You're writing such hot sauce out there.
We tread lightly.
People just like, I want longer and longer intros.
No more podcasts.
No more podcasts, just intros, man. Just lay down some fresh tracks.
Thrive Nation. Today we're talking about fresh tracks. We're talking about Barry Manilow. We're talking about bringing some sizzle for shizzle on the tracks. We're talking about how to deal with non-constructive criticism, negativity, hateful social media, betrayal. And before we went to the break, Z, you had a hot take. You were right there brewing on something, marinating on something.
It's like
and
a hot dish.
We had to so rudely, go to the break.
Well, why don't you tee it back up for me?
Tee it up?
Yeah, tee it up.
Z, I can't just tee it up like that. I can't go back in the past.
You can't.
No, I can't go back in the. No, I can't. It's like mentally, I can't go back that far, Z.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious. I cannot go back that far in the past. So much has happened. It seems like 40 minutes have gone by, but in reality, it's only been like 4 minutes.
Right.
Isn't that funny how time warps can happen like that?
I feel like we might have been gone for like 40 minutes exactly, but in fact, we've only been gone for 4 minutes.
Only 4 minutes for the break.
Can you re-tee it up to yourself? And I'll go, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Re-tee. Well, what we're talking about is the whole premise of today's show is Aristotle's trying to give us wisdom
on how to deal with
haters. And the idea that whenever someone says something, how you process it. And there was something very important you talked about, and that is being the right kind of mad.
Oh, yes.
But also, for me, one of the things that I enjoy doing is when I hear things that potentially, and we talked about the offense. Everybody's going around these days wanting to be offended, looking to be offended. That's offensive. I know I'm going to be offended today.
I just want you to know I'm just a little bit offended.
4 times today, and I
want you to know
I'm sure offended. It should have been more. But
your hands are kind of a microaggression right now, Z.
I'm sorry.
I don't appreciate it.
It's not so much like what you're doing; it's how I feel you're doing it.
Yeah. Listen, folks. Let it go in one ear and out the other. You hear that all the time. I've heard it growing up. Don't sit there and stew on it. Don't think about it. Don't pontificate about it.
Forget about it.
I'm going to read a Aristotle quote. Then I'm going to read a quote from an elephant in the room customer.
Okay.
Then I'm going to get Z's take on how to process this.
Okay.
So Aristotle says anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy. This just in. Z, are you ready?
Yes.
This just in. Google reviews the Dateline, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had somebody who reached out to us there, constructive, obviously. They said, there are wonderful stylists who work at EITR. That's Elephant in the Room. However, there are plenty of rumors regarding the shady practices associated with the CEO. That would be me. Oh, no, wait a minute. They recently fired my favorite stylist, a veteran, and a reservist.
Oh, no.
And after she simply inquired as to whether they've been skimming her tips.
Oh.
And so think about that for a second. If I had a really good stylist at Elephant in the Room. See, if you had a great optometrist at your optometry clinic.
Oh, yeah. I do. I have some really great ones.
Would you want to say, hey, everybody gather around. Gather around. I need the best. Z, get the best. Eric, get the best. Get me the absolute best people we have. Where are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are, sir.
Here's the deal. I've been watching all these North Korea documentaries, and I'm pretty inspired by the leadership style there, and I would like to execute our top people. No.
I view them as a threat.
But I think a lot of people think that that's what business owners do. I was listening to a preacher who I've never disagreed with this guy more. I listened to him a lot, but this morning I was like, gosh, you need to stop talking. He was talking about, he was talking about like adversity. And he's like, if you've been fired from a job, then you're seeking the guidance of the Lord. Let me tell you this. I can count on like one hand the number of people that I know who've been fired from a job for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I can count on all my fingers, all my toes, on all the limbs on a tree. I can count on all the keys on a keyboard. I can count on all the blades of grass. How many people have been fired and then claimed they were fired in a way that was weird? But I just don't know business. It doesn't make any sense logically to fire your top people. It doesn't make sense. And then furthermore, think about this. We've been in business for 6 years, almost 7. We're on the verge of franchising. We have an online education program that provides free subscriptions for military members. We do half off haircuts for members of the military. Why would I want to fire somebody who is serving our country proudly? Furthermore, does it give somebody a hall pass to be a bad employee simply because they served in the reserves?
Don't get me started on that.
So can we just unpack it? Because I got all that. And what happened was somebody came to me and they were very concerned. I appreciate that. It showed their loyalty. And they said, sir, somebody is saying online that you're a racist and that you hate the veterans. And I commented, they got rid of the part now about you hating, minorities and the fact, they're going on. But what happened is the person claimed that I hate Hispanics because the person who I fired was Hispanic and was a veteran. But then the person who on my team commented and wrote a comment about my true character or our company, and the person who commented was Hispanic. So it's kind of hard to argue with an Hispanic who's worked with me, who's bragging on our company. So they had to take that part down. But I mean, Z, can you talk to me about this idea that, hey, because someone served in the Marines or military or something, that all of a sudden they cannot be, they're untouchable, they can't be fired. I mean, you see it in politics, you see it in business. It's like, oh, because this person, served in the military, now they get a hall pass for life.
None of us get a hall pass. No, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your past good deeds or bad deeds. Nobody gets a hall pass. You're judged on the work of body that you're doing for the business at hand.
At hand.
And the part about that story that I'm going to come over there and throat punch you about. Can I? Do I have permission to throat punch him today?
I think that's a great idea.
Let me recue my romantic music. I always like to be punched in a romantic way.
I always like to do too. There you go.
All right, I'm ready.
Tip your chin up. And now I'm going to across the room, prophetically, throat punch you. Ready? Ooh.
Hayukin.
The part about that story that bothers me.
What bothers you?
Is the fact that it bothered you that much.
Much.
Let it go off. It's like water on a duck's back. Who gives a rat's hiney?
Yeah.
Who gives a rat's hiney? I mean, seriously? I mean, that's all just ludicrous. It's almost silly. And the idea that you're going to give some of your wonderful energy and wonderful time to deal with something that is so silly is just
Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted
silly.
to bring it up today because I feel like I've had a rash of clients recently that
You have a rash?
had
You
their
still have that
entire-
rash?
Still?
It's on the upper thigh. I think I already showed that one to you. Can
It's
I
a
show?
lingerer, huh?
That's a hanger on her.
No, but I've had a lot of clients recently who've said, "Gosh, I've had this bad review on Google and it's making me crazy. I can't sleep. They won't take it down. They won't take it down, Z."
I know they won't take it down, but listen, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom right now. Forget about it.
Forget about her.
I'm telling you, forget about it. Go on. It's okay. You think everybody in the world sees it.
It's a choice, right?
It's a choice.
Just forget about
When
it.
we come back from the break, Aristotle is going to be breaking down another notable quotable for us.
He's a smart guy.
Aristotle says, "He who hath many friends hath none."
Oh, wow.
Aristotle, think about that for a second.
Did he have a lisp?
He who hath, yes, this is Aristotle. He who hath many friends hath none. Sincerely, your friend Aristotle. Apply what you burn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you learn, increase what you burn, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you learn, increase what you burn, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
And now, broadcasting live from the box that rocks, it's the Thrivetime Business Coach Radio Show.
1, 2, 3, into the 4. Clayton Z on the microphone, Daily Fo Show. Welcome everybody to our daily dojo, the show where we always teach you how to make more. And on today's show, we have Dion Phillips, who comes through in the clutch like Chauncey Billups. Her clients include Serena Williams and Toni Braxton. How'd she do it? I'm just asking. Grab a pen and pad, welcome to the lab. It's time to turn your day around if you're feeling sad. So smile for a while, don't change that dial, cause Dion Phillips keeps A-list actors in style. Thrive Nation, here's the deal. I have to address the elephant in the room. Dion is not going to be on today's show. She was on yesterday's show, and I just want to make sure that people don't miss it because it's on the podcast.
D-Lashes.
It was delicious.
It was delicious.
Yeah, she's
Lashes.com. No, D-Lashes.com. All one word. Check her out. She's kind of a big deal.
Her clients include Victoria Beckham. You ever heard of her?
Yes.
Naomi, let's play the hot cold game. If you know these, if it's hot, if you know them, cold, if you don't.
All right.
Naomi Campbell,
hot.
Paris Hilton,
hot.
Lindsay Lohan,
hot.
Renee Zellweger,
hot.
Mary J. Blige,
hot. I named a horse after Renee Zellweger.
You did?
Yes. One of my moves, I would when I'm raising my thoroughbreds, sometimes I'd have 10 or 12, and I need to name them. So sometimes I get kind of naming block. And so what I would do is I would Google
nice.
the birth date of the horse with famous people.
So have you named a horse after Alyssa Milano?
And no, I didn't get her birthday.
But that's one of her clients.
Right, but I named a horse Renee Z. I was going to name it Zellweger, but the name was already used. I thought,
What movie was Renee Zellweger in that you liked the most? Was there a movie you thought, that was a good movie?
Yeah,
was it Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
You had me at hello.
Show me the money.
Right? Wasn't that her?
I feel like you should look that up. I feel like she was in Jerry Maguire though.
I know, but she was in a Jim Carrey movie, Me, Myself, and I. Right? When she
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yeah, I think something like that.
That could be now. Brandy. I mean, Gina Davis. I mean, we could stop. We can't because these are all the people that she's worked with. I mean, Sierra. You might say, I don't know who that is. Kellis, R&B star. I don't know who she is. Naomi Campbell. We mentioned her. We've got. It's unbelievable. Just go to D.
Yeah, she was in Jerry Maguire and Bridget Jones' Diaries, of course.
Sharon Stone.
Wow,
is Sharon Stone about your age? Is she older than you?
I'm gonna look it up. I'm 53, so shit.
You probably shouldn't look up anything on the computer where you type in Sharon Stone. That's probably not going to get a.
Oh, I'm typing it in.
You got to
now.
probably delete your history immediately. I would not search for Sharon Stone. And then Serena Williams. So she's worked with the who's who, and the client list is much bigger than what I just named.
Guess how old Sharon is?
Is she 53?
She's 60.
What?
I know.
Unbelievable.
60's the new 40, I guess.
Unbelievable.
She looks great.
So. Okay, what we're talking today is about how to deal with haters. There's some people out there, Z, that are sipping on haterade. Z, have you thought about this? This just in. Some people are sipping on a beverage of choice known as haterade.
And it seems like society is just dumping more petrol, more dry wood, more fuel, more all the social media, all the ways now we've got more ways to hate now than has ever been around.
Can I tell you a funny story today that you would not approve of, but I had no part of instigating?
Okay.
I'm just true. I had no part of instigating. But it's funny.
Yes, you may.
There is a web developer in Tulsa that called Steve Currington and said a bunch of bad things about me. I won't mention the guy's name. And so, but Steve's been my client for years. You know? So
great guy, Steve, by the way.
So Steve looks up the guy and finds all these criminal things in his past, like arrest for this, arrest for that, arrest for this. And so he likes him on Facebook, becomes his friend, and he goes Facebook Live, and he says, "Hey, everybody out there, I was just curious if this is a good web developer. He's been to jail. This happened, and he's live with this guy that was slandering me earlier today." And he's like, "Hey, buddy, I got your back." And I'm like, "You did what?"
Wow.
Yeah, that happened. And so
that's pretty funny.
John pulled me aside and was like, because he was checking the backgrounds of a guy, and I guess people didn't know his record, and so it was pretty epic.
Now, those that were watching,
now they know.
Do know the record.
And on Facebook, it's crazy, but whoever you like is your friend. Whoever's your friend, they see your posts. So, whoa.
That's the move.
So that was not a move. So anyway, I would just say the world loves just creating a hateful tension. And our show is designed to be your daily meta time, kind of a retreat, an escape from the negativity. Last night we had a great dinner.
Yes, we did. It's an escape from hate.
I don't remember when we escaped from hate. I don't remember either one of us gossiping.
Correct.
There was no life dude, don't you hate it when the Republicans do this?
Oh, man.
Bro, we're not complaining about the weather.
If just this wasn't happening, bro.
You never complain about the weather. We don't argue about religious divisions. By the way, there's thousands of Christian denominations, and I'm sure you and I could find something we disagree on.
Oh, I'm sure we could.
But that's what people focus on. Why is it such a rush to the bottom? Why do people want to focus on what they disagree about instead of what they agree on? Why?
It's the new culture. It's a new culture of this offensive-ness. It's a new culture of get up in the morning.
Get up in the morning.
And get ready.
Get ready.
To be offended.
Holy cow.
Because it's coming.
Hey, there's a lady the other day in our interview, true story. She says, and she's being interviewed. I think I shared that on the story, or shared that on the show a couple days ago. But during the interview, she literally said, "I don't like the tone that I'm being asked these questions," to the person interviewing her.
Sure.
And I just causing me anxiety. And I'm going to have to leave. So we're like, okay, here it comes. And then she actually sent in a letter from an attorney stating that because of the ADA laws, we might be in violation because we asked her a question in a way that caused her anxiety.
That's exactly
crazy,
what I'm
bro?
talking about.
Bro, she interviewed for a job.
When is the pendulum going to swing back to the good old days of sticks and stones can break my bones and words can never hurt me?
Tell me if you would hire this person or not. Let me reenact the situation.
Oh my gosh,
here we go.
Okay. I can already tell you, but go ahead.
So Clay, tell me about yourself. Well, I don't like the tone. Okay. Next question. Where'd you go to college? I do not know why you're asking so aggressively. I'm going to have to leave. I mean, that's what happened. Are you kidding me? What?
Good. Leave. I'm glad you didn't take up even more of my time. I don't want to ask you another question.
Now, what we did is we actually reached out to one of the leading psychologists of our generation, Z, to give this person feedback.
Oh, yes.
Who felt that high level of anxiety during the interview. And we couldn't get him on the show. They're very busy.
Very busy.
But Mr. Farley had this motivational
good
word of encouragement for our high
he's
anxiety interviewer.
Professional.
One of the best. Here we go.
One of the best.
Now, you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
This just in. Don't have an attorney reach out to anyone that you apply for a job for if you have an anxiety issue that causes you to not answer the questions.
It's just it's almost silly. It's almost silly, crazy.
What?
I know. Can you imagine that attorney sitting there listening to her and going, I wish I wasn't so desperate for a buck, but I'm gonna write this letter for the.
So we're gonna teach the listeners how to deal with issues.
Yeah, but that's what we do. Give you practical steps to deal with this kind of nonsense.
So here's some hate we got in the last week, and I would like to have you deal with it right here live on the air. Okay. But first off, Aristotle wrote this. He says, "He who hath many friends hath none." Okay, so marinate on that. We got two ideas. Aristotle says, "He who hath many friends hath none."
Okay.
The other day, somebody who I know very well posted on Facebook, and it was brought to my attention by a member of our team. It said, it was brought to my attention, a member of my team pulls me aside, and they said, hey, Clay, your friend wrote this on Facebook, and I think you should be aware of this. And I thought, okay, I'll check it out.
Okay,
and this is what they wrote.
Check it out.
This is what they wrote in the comments of one of our podcasts.
Okay.
They wrote, "It's a shame the guys aren't honest because the show's not always live." Let that sink in.
Wow.
It's a shame the guys, which would imply us. So I immediately, what do? You just defriend the person, you delete the thing, you move on. I'm not going to share their name, not going to hint about who they were, but I thought that was hilarious. That's what they were hung up on, was that sometimes our live radio show is not live. So Z, can we have a confessional moment here?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate right now.
See, here's the deal, Thrive Nation. We teach time freedom and financial freedom.
Yes.
And there are some times where I was in New Orleans recently on a Friday.
New Orleans.
You were at the beach somewhere.
At the beach.
We could be traveling. We could be supporting a ministry in Kentucky. We could be a lot of places, and sometimes we're not there because we're not a slave to the business. But see, that was probably too much emotion on my response. So again, Facebook, I have thousands of friends, but Aristotle would say, are they really friends? No.
Are they?
They're probably just acquaintances. But it says, Aristotle says, he who hath many friends hath none.
Because it comes down to time. It really depends on how you define a friend.
Oh, there we go.
And he's defining a friend as someone in your inner circle, someone that you spend time with. That's the circle.
The circle.
Grab the stone out of my hand, young grasshopper.
Oh, nice.
Yes, thank you.
So good.
Someone that you actually spend a lot of time with. So if you call a guy a friend and you see them once every 6 months.
Oh, we're tight, bro.
We're tight, bro.
We're tight.
Bro, we're tight.
Billy and I go back a long way.
And when you meet and when you see them in 6 months, you don't remember their names, so you just call them bro. That move. Hey, bro.
Bro. This just in. If you only know that their first name might or might not be bro,
they're probably not a friend.
Wow. But
just
again,
saying.
How would you, again, if that was somebody that you knew on Facebook, and I know you don't go on social media, I don't either. It's people on our team that just check it to, it's basically a minefield. I'm sure you do it with the optometry clinic too, but it's like somebody's going to troll on there every day. So you just got to sometimes make the executive decision. I prefer not to know. But if somebody who was in your social circle on Instagram or Facebook wrote on a comment and said, they probably thought you wouldn't see it.
Something nefarious, yeah.
Yeah,
something
it's
edgy.
It's a shame they're not honest. Sometimes the show's not live. How would you respond to that?
I wouldn't. I just delete it, move on. I wouldn't give it any. Me personally, I wouldn't give it any energy.
Which is what I did too. I just said delete him as a friend. Let's move on.
I'm just like really.
I guess I took too much action. I said delete him as a friend, then let's move on.
And then let's move on. And that's what a lot of times people then they because what happens is if they say something, then all of a sudden you're just opening up that troll to come back at you.
Here we go.
You've gave them what they want.
That's what they want.
They want energy.
Tell them what they want, what they really want. Tell them what they want.
They want the energy. They want the fight. They want to fight.
They
want
do.
the energy. Because you know what? They're mad. They're mad because their dad divorced their mom. They're mad because their teacher gave them an F. They're mad because they were late to work and got fired. I mean, and it wasn't their fault. I mean, whatever they're mad about. Right. And guess what?
Chicken butt.
Oh, they can find someone to take it out on. Oh, yeah, baby. I'm coming at you because you know why? You lied.
And in a trending communist country, everybody's opinion matters.
Everybody's opinion.
You could not have a job. You could be a convicted multiple-time criminal, as it happened this week. And
But
you
I
could
have
go
an internet
online,
connection. But I have an internet connection.
And you could allege with your government-funded internet connection
Yes.
something happened. But Steve Currington, he will come after you. Let me tell you, he will come after you. He'll keep it capitalist.
That guy with the guns, I mean.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Okay, now here's the next scenario, the next form of adversity that a lot of our listeners run into. You might have a business, and a member of your team might miss the mark. See, have you ever had a situation where anybody on your team has ever missed the mark, ever? I mean, because I know that I've had it happen, but have you ever had it happen?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
When we come back for the break, I want to talk about a scenario in my life where a member of my team dropped the ball, therefore it's my fault, and how you deal with it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
as opposed to lamenting on it and just, worrying about it forever. And I would say during the break here, Thrive Nation, do me a favor. Let's be honest. Between you and me and everyone listening, have you yet to go to have you gone to hoodcpas.com yet? I mean, I won't tell anybody, but have you gone there yet? Have you at least checked it out? If you have not yet checked out hoodcpas.com, I would encourage you to go to hoodcpas.com right now. Go during the break. Check it out. Just check it out one time. He's a great show sponsor. And if anybody's going to put their money where my mouth is, I would strongly recommend that you check him out. That's Hood CPAs. If you're looking for an accountant who is as proactive as you are, you definitely want to check out hoodcpas.com. What was that? hoodcpas.com. Stay tuned.
Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, now we hit.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colin Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we hit.
Sing it with me, Thrive Nation. Started from the bottom, now we are here. Man, that is hot. See, that's hot.
I'm emotional right now. Just a little emotional.
I'm afraid to touch the mic because it's so hot.
Don't do it.
It's
too hot.
Thrive Nation, I will move on into the show today with great fear because the show's too hot.
He's got a hot mic.
If you're wondering who sang that song, his name is Colton Dixon. He is a Christian top 40 artist who is soon to be releasing an album you're absolutely going to love. If you've not checked out ColtonDixon.com yet, really, I mean, Z, I'd hate to say you're not a good American. You're not a patriot. You're not somebody who we could trust. But I would be skeptical if you've yet to check out ColtonDixon.com. Isn't that kind of like a rite of passage? You have to go to ColtonDixon.com at least once.
At least once. I mean, you got to check it out. The guy's a phenomenal artist.
Oh, yeah.
Great voice. Great guy.
Nothing personal. I mean, if you don't check it out, it's not like we're going to sit here and talk about judging you on the show.
We're not hate. This is an anti-hate show.
This is an anti-hate show.
Right, and we're actually talking about anti-hate on the anti-hate show.
But in the event, a guy like me said, if you don't go to ColtonDixon.com, you're an idiot. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But a lot of people, it matters.
And I would say, like, if you don't go to ColtonDixon.com, you're not as smart as you could be.
Right. You could be tutored. You could be tutored. Okay.
You could be. Okay.
So here's what happens. You own a business. Bad things happen. How do you deal with it? I call this the 5-second rule. Back in the day, I probably called it the 5-hour rule or the 5-week rule. But when something bad happens, how long does it take you to recover emotionally? This is called emotional intelligence. And if it takes you 5 weeks to get over anything bad that happens, you got to get off the field. You can't run a business. You just got to stop. Go get a adversity-free job. But if you own a business, you've got to get over stuff in about 5 seconds. And so this is what happened to me years ago. And I would like for you, Z, to explain to me how I should have handled it.
Okay.
Here's the scenario. My bride hired one of my DJs when I owned DJ Connection back in the year 2003.
Back in the day.
First time I got sued big time. The DJ was supposed to be at the wedding over at the Moose Lodge off of 11th in Garnett in Tulsa.
The moose. I love
and
that.
the DJ did not show up. My DJ did not show up.
Huh.
And so this is back before everyone had cell phones. I had a cell phone, but it was back before you had like limited minutes, before you could just call people constantly. And
oh, yeah.
So she reached out to me and the phone rang. She goes, hi, my name is such and such, and I'm arriving at my reception, and I was told there's not a DJ here. What happened? I frantically call up the guy because he called me 2 hours before to confirm he was there. He's confirmed he was set up. I'm calling. Find out he just ghosted, didn't show up. So I send my backup. The backup gets to the wedding reception 1 hour after it's supposed to start. Fully set up an hour after it's supposed to start. The father of the bride yells at me, rightfully so. Wants a refund, rightfully so. I gave him a full refund, rightfully so. I apologized.
Rightfully
I said,
so.
It's my fault. He says, are you kidding me? All you're going to say is it's your fault. I said, it's my fault. And what I'd like to do is, because I know if it was my daughter's wedding and the DJ ruined the reception, I'm going to give you all your money back plus what you would have paid. So you're paying $700 to me. I'm going to give you all $700 back, plus I'm paying you $700, okay? And we operate about a 20% margin, so I'm giving you the profit from like 5 shows. And I'm also telling you I'm sorry, and I apologize, and I promise you that guy will not be working with me in the future. And I'll never forget this. He says, well, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. It's you I have a problem with. I'm suing you. And then he began to sue me. This really happened. He said, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I don't have a problem with him.
Right.
He told me he wasn't scheduled, and he had some big old story. So long story short, even after giving him a refund plus the $700 back, he decides to sue me. And, dude, it rocked every single second of every single day for at least 2 months. I could not sleep. I was frustrated. I was worried. And he wanted to sue for an insane amount of money. How should I have handled it?
How much did he want to sue for?
He wanted the entire cost of the wedding, which is at the Moose Lodge. So I believe it was over $10,000. He said the whole ceremony was ruined, the reception was ruined, the photography was ruined, the video was ruined, everything was ruined, and the emotional stress of the deal, and he wanted $10,000.
Okay, and you gave him $1,400.
Yeah, at first, but because I just gave it to him, and then here comes the $10,000 claim. How would you handle that?
Did he, when he accepted the 7 and the 7?
He never accepted it. He just basically said, listen, I don't have a problem with you, and I don't want to get any of your guys in trouble. It's you I have a problem with. And then he just basically ghosted me on the phone call. So I'd already told him what I was going to do.
But then you didn't do it because he wouldn't accept it.
I did do it. I sent it to him, certified mail.
Did he check?
He cashed it.
He cashed it?
Yes.
Okay. So I just out of curiosity, how did the lawsuit pan out? And I'll tell you what.
He sent me back a letter stating that they wanted like $30,000. I talked to their attorney. They said they'd be willing to settle for $10,000. We go back and forth. I think I got out of it for like maybe $6,000 or $5,000. But I lost like months of sleep. No exaggeration. I literally could not think straight. I was thinking about it at dinner. I was thinking about it in the bath. I was thinking about it in the shower. I was thinking about it on the way to work. I was thinking about it when I was working out. I couldn't sleep. I mean, it just took my joy.
It will if you let it. And you let it.
Right.
And it's hard to tell a man going through the first injustice in his life.
Right.
That
because I trained the DJ so hard.
Just roll over and take it like a man. And what happened was he got the hammer.
He did. He got the hammer.
He got the hammer.
He got the hammer.
You guys messed up and you gave him the hammer.
Oh, baby, I like it.
Oh, he said, you know what?
Yeah, baby,
I like this hammer.
Oh.
And I'm going to take this hammer and I'm going to swing it as hard as I can. Repeatedly. Over. And over.
No.
And over.
No.
Because I'm mad about so many things. And you know what? I finally have someone to take it out on. And unfortunately, it's easy to sit here and go through the legal aspects of it. But the legal, I just went through a legal case myself that I was kind of pulled in, but I was pulled. I had the auto auction, and there was a deal that car was through, went through there, was sold, and then it was sold to an individual. The individual found out it had been wrecked. Anyway, it was just a bad car deal. Well, the lawsuit comes, and then everybody that had touched that car ends up in the lawsuit, right? Because that's the move that these attorneys want to do. They want to just throw as much mud on as many people as they can.
Throw out the Sioux sandwich.
Right. So we went to mediation, and I wrote a check, much larger than was fair, much larger.
Can I cue up your massive check writing music?
Please do.
I'm sure you listened to this when you wrote the check.
Please do.
All right, here we go. We're going to settle with a deadbeat.
Yep.
He's claiming whatever. I'm going to pay whatever. I'm going to give my money up so that I have my time freedom back.
It was crazy. But what I did is I hunkered through. There was 3 of us on one side. The car dealer, the wholesaler, and then myself, the auto auction owner. And I encouraged the guys. I implored them that it wasn't fair. It wasn't right.
It wasn't right.
This gentleman's going to be getting more money than he deserves.
Come on, guys.
But if we want to go through the actual lawsuit of this, it's going to be a lot more money in the end.
Oh.
And so
sometimes it's just accepting the worst case scenario as soon as possible and moving on is the move.
It's the move. You have to do it. And anytime you have this business litigation, it's just a business deal.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how to deal with even more haters. But before, I want to tell you about lovers. I love our bathroom. When I come to work on Mondays,
so clean.
Our bathroom, our porcelain palace is so clean it blows my mind all of the time. And how? Well, it's because the good folks at theclassicclean.com are the janitorial service of choice. Oh, yes, they are. What was that website again? That's theclassicclean.com. If you want to turn your urinal into a drinking fountain in times of need, go to theclassicclean.com, theclassicclean.com. Stay tuned.
No negative emotion, cause that's what business is. Always dominate, cause I got 5 kids. I will not lose, I don't break but bruise. They can talk about me, I can take that abuse. But here is the truth, while they make that excuse, I'll be up grinding cause the scoreboard's the truth. He is my mentor, like my Yoda dude. He showed me the force like I was a young Luke.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And if you're out there looking for a business mentor, kind of a father-son relationship, if you will, you're not abnormal. In fact, a lot of people say the hardest part of running a business is that you're alone. You're alone. I mean, think about Luke Skywalker. Follow me with this analogy. Luke Skywalker, he was a young whippersnapper. He was told by this guy, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that he might have the moves, the skills.
The moves.
He could become a Jedi. And he's like, what's a Jedi? And he says, well, you could become a Jedi like your father. He says, who's my father? Long story short, he's able to levitate rocks. He's running around with that lightsaber. I mean, think about how, if you could bat away a laser beam, not a bullet, but a laser beam, I mean, the accuracy of that lightsaber.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty impressive. If you can sort of see into the future, if you can jump and do these crazy flips and just land wherever you want them, if you can fight people they have guns and you have a sword and you can beat them, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. But very few people can relate to that. So he kind of starts to feel lonely. He needs to refine his skills. So where does he go? He flies to Dagobah to visit Yoda.
Dagobah.
And he sits down with Yoda, and Yoda's kind of squirrely. He's like, Yoda, hey.
He's like a big squirrel.
He's like, I'm here to meet Yoda. I'm here to meet Yoda. Where's Yoda at? And Yoda's, he's going, take you to him in due time. He's like, but who?
Playing the game. He's playing the game.
Yeah, he's
a game.
Just freaking, where's Yoda? I'll take you to him, but first we must eat. And he's like, stop, Yoda, I'm serious. Who is Yoda? I just want to meet Yoda. And Yoda starts eating all of his food, just trying to break him down emotionally. And Yoda, the entire time, if you remember the scene from The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda starts saying, no, and he's just eating all of his food, and he's just really irritating Luke. He's making Luke mad.
Oh, I'm really upset.
And he says, first you must face Vader. You must face Vader. And he's trying to wig him out to see what Luke can handle. He's trying to raise up the high water mark.
Yes.
He even creates a hologram of Darth Vader he has to fight and freaks him out. The whole thing's crazy. I really feel like most entrepreneurs aren't having Yoda-like training. You're just going out there facing Darth Vader, and you're going, oh no! I mean, it's like a little boy out there all of a sudden is fighting like a balloon sword you got at Casa Bonita back in the day, and you're now facing a real
ninja,
a real adversity, a real Darth Vader for the first time. Z, do you remember the first time where you faced a real, a wake-up call, holy crap, you're an entrepreneur, this is your new life?
Oh, yes.
Can you think of one? I've got one that I've got here that's pretty hot, but if you want to one-up me, go for it.
Well, you go first, that way I can one-up you.
Okay. Well, I remember when we first opened Elephant in the Room. This wasn't my first time to have adversity, but I think it's kind of funny and crazy. We opened up the Elephant in the Room, and this is so good. We my brother-in-law is so excited about his vision and building out the stores, and I am too. So we hire a contractor, and I'm upstairs, Z, at 16th in Boston, working on some paperwork, making some things happen, recruiting the staff.
Oh yeah.
And you hear the guy downstairs, zzz, zzz, because he's building the store. Zzz, and you hear the hammer. You hear just all the pounding, and all of a sudden you hear, "Oh my God! Oh my God! What the?" And you're just like, it's just like crazy.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going,
What happened?
Yeah, well, the guy cut half of his foot off. He literally cut his foot into the shape of a triangle.
Oh, Lord.
He was trying to dig through the concrete, this guy, to lay in our plumbing for our shampoo bowls. And I guess he got distracted and zzz,
not a good time.
All the way through. So it's like, and I'm not kidding, we had there's like a trench he had built, and the trench is filled with his blood.
Sure, yeah.
And I run down there, and I'm like, whoa, call 911, get a blanket, we wrap it up, this whole thing. Well, the general contractor who's managing the job is responsible. He's the one with the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So the plumber goes to the hospital. He no longer can walk normal, by the way, anymore. He's missing a big part of his foot.
I'm sorry to hear that, yeah.
So he sues he files a claim against the general contractor. Well, the general contractor calls me up and says, "Hey, here's the deal. Clay, I actually falsified that document. I don't have insurance."
Oh, it just keeps
and I'm
getting
going,
better.
So you supplied me with insurance that isn't real. I said, "Yeah, but here's the deal. I know you guys are insured. If you'll take it on this one, I mean, he's wanting like a couple $100,000, and I don't have anything saved, and I don't have insurance."
Oh, my.
And I'm going, what? And this was like a buddy of my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden he discovered he's not really a buddy. So the way court works, as you mentioned with your auto auction, the next level is people just try to sue anybody. So now they're like, let's just create a narrative that Clay hired you directly and you never worked for a sub, and he's the one who should have the insurance. Now, I ended up winning the case and not having to pay out money, but a person that was very close to my brother-in-law was going to sell him out to avoid paying out money that he was rightfully owed the guy for cutting his foot off because he didn't have insurance. So the guy was, first off, the guy who was a friend of my brother-in-law didn't have insurance. That's problem one. Two is he falsified the insurance. That's problem two. Three, when he got called out for it, he tried to pass the buck to me. Four, he didn't feel bad about it. He said, "Hey, you got the money. You take care of it."
Sure.
And he's shocked that today I don't talk to him anymore.
I wonder why that is.
Isn't that weird?
I don't guess so kind of.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that that's what entrepreneurship is. Then our first week we're open, one of our stylists, brand new stylist, was super excited talking to one of the first customers we ever had, and he cut his earlobe in almost half.
Oh, sweet mother of pearl.
They're doing a straight razor shave, and they're doing something else, and he's like, "Pshoof!" And I don't know what happened, but it's just like dangling. And he was actually an employee of one of my other companies at the time. So we had to send him to the emergency room, basically get his ear put back together with a cosmetic surgeon. Not kidding, his lobe was like cut in half. And that happened.
Wow.
That was like in our first month, bro. I'm like, well, if you're going through hell, don't stop.
Keep going. If you're there, don't stop for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, and then week 3, not kidding, week 4, a guy we were leasing from in one of our businesses didn't pay his water bill, so our water got turned off in our haircut business. And so we had to turn the water back on. It kind of impacts things when you can't give guys a shampoo. I mean, see, have you ever had a week like that where you thought to yourself, or a month like that, or a few where you thought, is it going to stop?
Well, yeah, I did. Back in 96, June of 96,
June of 96.
I got fired from the only job I've ever been fired from. I was president of a large optical corporation nationwide.
That had to feel good.
Oh, yeah. And they were here in Tulsa competing. And so I came back. And within 6 months, I was competing with them. Where 6 months earlier, I was running that business. And it was on like Donkey of the Kong.
I think when you started your new business to compete against the guys who fired you, we were able to get audio of what the guy who fired you said.
Oh, yeah, really?
We mic everything without asking.
Everything.
We mic'd his offices. And this is audio retrieved from 1996.
Wow.
This is what they said. When they got off the phone and they found out that you were competing head-to-head with when they found out that the guy they just fired is now competing head-to-head, this is what they said.
Okay, let's hear it.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Was that from Airplane?
Yeah, the movie Airplane. That actually was not audio, the Thrive Nation. But if you're out there and you're saying, gosh, you know what? I carry all my stress in my back. I need to see a chiropractor. I would highly recommend that you check out one of our show sponsors and frequent guests, Dr. John Sibley. Again, a chiropractor. You want to adjust that back. You want to get an alignment. You just feel sore all the time. Upper back, lower back. You carry the stress in your back, your shoulders, whatever. Go see one of the top chiropractors in Tulsa. He was the chiropractor of choice for Wayne Gretzky, the great one. That's drjohnsibley.com. Someone says, what was that again? It's drjohnsibley.com. What? drjohnsibley.com. Check him out today.
And now, broadcasting live from the box that rocks, it's the Thrivetime Business Coach Radio Show.
It's time for higher learning and higher earning. Taking you to the top like we're hiking Mount Vernon. We're changing the mindsets like we're incense burning. Passing on the magic like our name was Irvin. Serving up that knowledge like I was a servant. And I cite what I say so you know I'm not a servant. It's Thrivetime show, bringing the heat while fervent. Giving it to you straight in a world that's swerving. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts.
Stacking the cash, bringing back the plaques.
Come on.
People like to talk about those things. They like to talk about the success, but people don't want to talk about the stress.
Well, the victory. They don't want to talk about the mud and the digging the trenches and the staying up late and the getting up early. They just want to see the victory. They want to see the parade.
The
of the team.
So what I'm going to do, today is I'm going to tee up 4 criticisms that I have received in the past week in a general way. And I want you, Dr. Z, to teach the listeners out there how they should handle these interactions with haters or negative people. Here we go. This is negative interaction that happened. This is all in the past. This happens every week, but this is just this week. I made note of it, so here we go. Social media. Somebody pulls me aside and says, hey, on social media, somebody's talking about, God, they're saying that, like, you guys, like, one of your managers is verbally abusing your employees, and it's just not a safe place to work. And I went on Glassdoor, and they wrote on there, too, that your teammates, your manager's verbally abusing people. How I handled it is I don't even go on social media, and I just am like, okay, anybody who knows that person, I'm sure, knows they're crazy, but whatever. And I didn't even address it at all. How would you handle just overall negative hate on social media?
Just like you did. Hit the ignore button. When people put stuff on social media, they're looking for that energy. They want to get into an argument. They want to go the back and forth. They want you to respond. They want to know that they're getting underneath your skin.
They want it to happen.
They want it to happen, Captain. And so by you just ignoring them, you're just saying, you know what? I'm not going to give any of my bandwidth. I'm not going to give any of my gray matter. I'm not going to give any of my energy to even thinking about that, let alone talking about it.
One of the franchises I work with, this is a fun one. Recently, we had a franchisee who, when you're a franchise, you have to follow the system, okay? You can't, like, make up your own, like, let's just say hypothetically, if you were in the dog training industry or carpet cleaning or you were, say about a Papa John's franchise, you can't start your own pizza restaurant in the same town and pretend like you didn't start a company that directly competes with the franchise that you own. You can't just, like, buy a franchise, learn all their systems, and then recreate your own version secretly under a different name.
We'll call it Billy John's.
So we recently had,
Pizza.
Billy John's.
Yeah, Billy John's.
So recently we had to send somebody the following email, and I've changed it up so it's not specific, but you can get an idea. This was the email that our attorney had to send. It said, John Doe, I'm disappointed that I've been informed that you are in breach of the separation agreement. Because he wasn't following the system, so he got fired as a franchisee, okay? As I understand it, you have breached the separation agreement by taking possession of the company's Google page, Facebook page, and by continuing to use the SMS short code, boom, 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 to market, and continuing to reach out to our current and former clients. And it goes on and on and on. And it says, I have not turned this over to litigation to sue you yet, but I am inclined to do so unless you fix this immediately, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I'm never going to talk to that person again. It's going to be all through an attorney. I'm done. I mean, once you get to a point where you're playing those games, and we've talked about it multiple times, am I wrong to just cut people out of my life forever?
Cut them out of your life and turn it over to your attorneys. Turn it over to your team that handles that. There's people out there that are professionals that deal with that and know what to do and have your best interest, and you pay them to do it.
So you're saying if you had to cut somebody out of your business life because they're screwing you, it's okay to cut someone out of your life forever if you had to?
Absolutely. Done it before. We'll do it again, I'm sure. I mean, it's your day. It's your life. It's your 24 hours. And you get to decide who gets to spend that part of that day with you as you go through the day.
Here is another one here. This is all things I've dealt with in the last week.
Okay, here we go. This is good stuff, by the way.
You fire somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a call from their spouse.
Oh, that's the move.
By the way, and I don't recall hiring their spouse, but whenever you hire someone, you do hire their spouse.
You do.
So the spouse says, "Hi, I just wanted to call you." And the text message said, "Hey, I appreciate you the way you've been working with my husband." And
trying to log in.
And they said, "I'm sorry to know that it didn't work out. I just had a quick question about a reference for his next job." So it seemed like a little positive thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
and they're like, "Hey, he's gonna get a new job, and I just wanted to make sure that you're willing to write a reference and help him make a smooth transition." I'm like, absolutely. And by the way,
oh, here we go.
The way you fire people is so unethical, and the fact that you would fire somebody right this time of the year. I mean, we already had 4th of July plans. You knew about that trip, and you were gonna fire. And then this is hot and heavy. This is real.
Oh yeah, it just ramps on up.
So what I said was, "Hey, it's not working out. And I wish you guys the best, but you can talk to my attorney." And I hung up. Should I have handled it differently? Should I have gone on and talked forever? Should I have apologized? Should I have hugged somebody? Should I have met them at Brahms to discuss?
Well, I hope you learn not to receive that phone call in the future.
I did. I got tricked. I honestly thought it was
tricked.
I thought it was. Here's the deal. The guy, when he let him go, he was cool. He was like, "Hey, I respect that. I'm sorry, boss, to let you down. Can I use you as a reference at a new job?" I said, "Sure." So I thought it was
already handled.
Right, I thought it was good.
Already handled.
And then the spouse reaches out.
Oh no! The spouse reaches out because they want their pound of flesh. They want their pound of flesh.
I'm sure he skipped the part about, "Hey, by the way, I
was an idiot.
Oftentimes didn't come to work, but said I did and turned in my hours, and therefore I got fired."
Yeah, exactly. You know the deal. And so you got tricked. That's a classic deal, and that's how it always is when
Parting
you're firing
shot
someone.
as I'm hanging up the phone. She goes, "What? You have a history of firing your best employees." I love that. I wrote that down.
Oh, you
think about that.
I know. I don't want to. I don't. Yeah, it's just silly. It's almost so silly. It's almost like that doesn't even make sense. And that's the thing about it is when you're dealing with people that are that emotional, and that mad, and that upset, just don't even deal with them. Don't even deal with them.
Here's
don't
another.
take that call.
Here's another one. This is one that resurfaced, but it happened years ago. I had a DJ who worked for me. He's driving down the road. Out of the back of his car comes one of the speakers, hits the lady in a freaking minivan.
Okay.
Could have killed the lady.
Sure.
Doesn't stop to check on her, drives off. She has the presence of mind to save herself, isn't writing down a license plate. Somebody follows him, writes down the license plate, calls the police, they pull him over. Long story short, it's my vehicle. My vehicle gets impounded. That person threatens to sue. I took care of all of her auto damages and her chiropractic bill. We did the right thing there.
Sure.
Recently, this isn't the last week, someone goes, "Hey, I heard that such and such worked for you. Why do you hire people like that?" True story.
True story.
True story. How would you handle it? I just said, you know what? We try to hire the best people possible. If it's not a good fit, we move on. But how would you handle when people attack you for making a mishire?
Yeah, you just say, "Well, it just didn't work out," and walk on.
Oh.
The thing about it is they want to sit there and people, I don't know why, they want to revel. They want to enjoy. Misery loves company.
They want to celebrate.
They want to celebrate misery. They want to celebrate mistakes. They want to celebrate.
Let's make a poster to talk about every day.
You're such a big deal, Clay Clark. You seem like you run around and act like you got your life together. I mean, you're giving advice. You're being paid to give advice. You're being paid to coach people.
But really, has your teammate ever made a mistake?
Mistakes too.
Aristotle said this quote, and I want to let you end the show with this quote because this is powerful. Okay. First off, we'll give you a Winston Churchill quote. Winston Churchill, the guy who led England against the Nazi regime, the only country to stand up to the Nazis and fight, by the way, before America promised to support him. He wrote, the former prime minister of England, he wrote, "You have enemies? Good. That means that you stood up for at least something, sometime in your life."
Wow.
Aristotle says, "We make war so that we may live in peace." We make war that we may live in peace. I think there is a time to kill. Sometimes there is a time to sue. Sometimes there is a time to. When is that line? When is that level where you say as an owner? Because
when it absolutely must. Whatever.
What would be one of example? You're like, okay, I got to go for it.
Here's the filter.
Okay.
Here's the filter. What's best for the business? And you've got to be willing, because business is war. So if you're not willing to fight, if you're not willing to have that mindset, I'm not saying you do it all the time. Be a lover, not a fighter, but that doesn't mean you're never a fighter. Take the high road, never the low road. That doesn't mean the high road isn't a climb up the hill to pick a fight. All right. The thing about it is, though, is it absolutely necessary? And then trying to settle it as quickly as possible.
We have audio from a thriver who used to try to view their business not as a war, but to view it as a great big community co-op where they all get along with their competitors.
That's lovely.
And this is what they said on the audio recorder here. Incredible call in here. They said,
"Do you know what this means?
It means that this thing doesn't work at all.
That's right. It doesn't work. If you try to be a pacifist and run a company, it's not going to work.
You got. Sometimes you listen. Sometimes you have to know when to bang the drum, and you have to bang the drum for the survival, for the benefit of your business.
Can I bang the drum real quick for for ThriveTimeShow.com?
Yes, you may.
If you're out there and you say, I want to grow a successful business, we have 4 ways to help you. The Quattro.
The Quattro.
We have the one-on-one business coaching.
Uno.
We have the business conferences, the
Dos.
2-day interactive business conferences.
Dos.
We have thousands of videos from world-class mentors.
Tres.
And we have literally hundreds and hundreds of podcasts, all archived for you, all with show notes, all transcribed, downloadables, everything you ever need. It's the one website you need to go. You only need to have one website to go to build a successful company. That's ThriveTimeShow.com, your number one resource for entrepreneurs around the world, just like you. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!